Hello everyone, I'm Tanner Smedley, and today I will be showing you the Lined Alphabet Bundle. There are two parts to this bundle, the Layering Alphabet Edgelits dies and the Lined Alphabet Stamp Set. Here's the photopolymer stamp set Lined Alphabet. It comes with 34 individual photopolymer stamps, the entire alphabet, accent marks, punctuation, and several international special characters. The Layering Alphabet dies come with 34 individual dies that coordinate and cut out every single character in the stamp set. However, these are not your typical alphabet dies. They are designed to interlock with a special edgelet piece to create unique cascading word projects. By cascading, I mean this layered effect. We have 5 different letters cut out on different colors of cardstock layered together in a cascading sequence. Here's the edgelet piece that makes it all happen. The edgelet piece works with the different characters to cut out different layers that can be adhered together to create bold statement. Here's the framed area where all of the alphabet pieces fit in. You can see on this frame that there is a rectangular spot and a rounded spot. This matches up to all of the individual framelets to make sure that the pieces are always oriented correctly. So you can see that the rectangles are going to match up and the rounded areas are going to match up. All you need to do is simply drop the die into the edgelet, and all the blades are lined up to cut out an entire layer. And what you'll get is something that looks just like this. So you're going to have the letter cut out with the rest of the cardstock layer. There are also several areas on the die that serve as visual markers for vertical and horizontal standard card sizes regardless of what market you are in. Here I have 2 of our standard card sizes, and when you lay this edgelet on top, you're going to see that there are visual cues to let you know that everything is lined up just as it should be, and that's going to work both horizontally and vertically for your card fronts. Once you have selected the greeting that you want to create, it's time to pull out your Big Shot. With these dies, it's highly suggested that you use the magnetic platform and flat cutting pads. If you have one that is bowing, it can be really difficult to keep the letters in place. The dies are thin, so a straight cutting pad will make everything much better. Now, I know that this can be a hard thing to do because we all want to get as much use out of our cutting pads as possible, and I have seen some really interesting cutting pads over the years. So I think we all just owe it to ourselves to get some new ones. It'll make your life so much easier. So I have my Big Shot out, and we're going to start building our sandwich. You're going to start with the magnetic platform on the bottom, your bottom cutting pad, a piece of cardstock, and you're just going to put the edgelet die right over the cardstock, using the visual markers to make sure that everything's lined up well. And then you'll drop in the first letter of your greeting, and then the top cutting pad right on top. We're going to run that through the Big Shot. And then there you have your first layer. For the stamp coordination, because this is a photopolymer stamp set, you can choose to stamp after running it through the Big Shot. You can just stamp right on top of the cutout, or you can stamp ahead of time and use it like you would any other framelit. So I'm just going to grab the edgelet and the framelit and just line it up right on top. Now in this case, to help me get the placement just right, I actually laid the edgelet down and then I stamped through the opening of the framelit to get the H just where I wanted it. As each layer is completed, you can just take your snail to adhere the different layers together to create your final greeting. For the final card, all the letters have been layered together and mounted with dimensionals on a note card-sized card. In this sample, we see the sentiment paired with imagery and sentiments from the stamp set, A Big Thank You. The sans serif font for the tool and the stamp were actually selected deliberately so the stamp set will coordinate well with many different stamp set fonts and imagery. There are a few other techniques that make this tool and stamp even more versatile. If you don't want to make a cascading card, you can have this set function more like a traditional alphabet framelit. All you need to do is stamp the letter that you want and use the letter framelit by itself and run it through the Big Shot. I've run this through ahead of time, and you can see that most of the letter is cut out, but there's still a little portion where it's still attached to the rest of the cardstock. Using the stamp as a guide, you can just take your paper snips and quickly cut out the letter. And by using the stamped image, you can really just easily fussy cut and keep that same uniformed border. And then I have just a single letter that I can use on my card front. In this sample, we see this technique of using the individual letters layered over the backdrop of the Climbing Vine Textured Impressions embossing folder and paired with imagery and sentiments from the stamp set Apron of Love. The last and final technique that I wanted to share with you was actually using the negative side of the cutout and dropping in individual cutout letters. What I mean by that is that when you run the edgelet through the Big Shot, you get a negative side and you get a positive side with the letter attached. So you can see how those kind of all function together. After cutting out another color of cardstock or DSP, you can simply drop it into place to have a nice contrast of colors. In this sample, the negatives have all been cut out and layered together to spell out sunshine. The dropped-in letters are cut out of the Coordinating Color Family Designer Series paper to make this nice rainbow cascade card front. Each letter has also been stamped with white embossing powder for another added bit of texture. The additional images and sentiments are from the stamp set Jar of Love. I love just how versatile this bundle is. It really allows you to create custom greetings for any occasion, and the possibilities are endless. Be sure to contact your local demonstrator or visit stampinup.com for more information.